episode of my vlog. My vlog is for people who are getting on bikes, getting on a motorcycle after an extended period of not riding, returning riders, and new riders as well. I'm Lou, and I am a returning rider. I took a 20-year hiatus from riding motorcycles. I got back into riding last season, and my bike was a 2003 Suzuki SV650. I really enjoyed that bike. Today I'm riding my new mount, the 2009 Ducati Monster 696. The Monster's an absolutely fabulous bike, super fun, very comfortable. And for today, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 tips for returning riders, or people who are getting back on a bike after a long period of being off motorcycles, or thinking about it. So number one is start small. What does that mean? Well, think about the bike I'm riding now. It's a 2-cylinder 700cc motorcycle. It's not the fastest, not the biggest, but it's also not the heaviest. And I think for folks who are getting back on motorcycles, there's a temptation to get the biggest, baddest, fastest, coolest bike out there. But the numbers are against you. Many of the fatalities and accidents that are being logged happen to be with older riders. It's a disturbing trend. And I think what's happening is that folks are getting on bikes that are just too much for them to handle. They're biting off more than they can chew. So my advice is to start small. Think of a 250 or a 500 or maybe a 600 class machine. Single cylinder or twin cylinder. 4-cylinder bikes tend to be pretty peaky in their power delivery. And what you want is power that's accessible and manageable. So the nice thing about a smaller motorcycle is that it puts the power where you need it down low. This means riding in city streets, or even riding these nice canyons here in Colorado like we're doing today. The other advantage is that a smaller bike weighs less, typically, so it's easier for you to maneuver in slow-speed situations. You want to give yourself as many advantages as you possibly can, because, let's face it, you're going to be faced with a pretty steep learning curve getting back onto a bike, starting on a bike. Starting on a smaller motorcycle provides you the advantage of more control. More control because of the weight, because of more manageable power, and also seat height, which is a big consideration. Oops, here. bike has about a 30-inch seat height. I'm a shorter rider, and it just makes it a lot easier for me to put both of my feet down and stop, and also maneuver the motorcycle in and out of the driveway and the garage. The more comfortable you feel on your bike, the more control you have, I think the more relaxed you're going to be, the more you can focus on developing your riding skills and paying attention to everything that's happening around you. Okay, so that's number one tip, is start small. Doesn't mean you have to stay small. I dream about leader class bikes, V4s, triples, maybe a bike like that's in my future someday. So for now, my second season of riding, I'm still really content on my Monster 696. It's plenty of bike. I'm still learning how to tap its capability. Okay, let's think about our next tip here for returning motorcyclists, and that is to get trained. So you might think, oh, you know, I was on bikes when I was young, I know all there is to know about motorcycling. And that may be true to an extent, but things have really changed over the past 3 years. We've got texting drivers. We've got motorcycles that have become very advanced in their capabilities. Tire technology has improved, brake technology has improved, bikes have gotten a lot more powerful. And for this reason, I think it's critical that a returning rider sign up for a motorcycle class. And the MSF, or the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, has chapters in just about every major city or town across the U.S. And they offer classes to help you get your motorcycle license or to refreshing your skills. Another advantage to taking an MSF class is that your insurer will typically give you a discount on your insurance having completed the class. So I remember my MSF class I took last summer was challenging. It was a hot day, and we went through many drills, a lot of low-speed drills. It really teach you a lot about controlling your bike. I think that watching where you want to go, or looking where you want to go, is probably the single most important takeaway for myself in my motorcycle training class. And the basic idea is this. Instead of looking immediately in front of you, or looking down on the road, you want to keep your eyes high. You want to look high, look through turns. And the reason for this is, your body will naturally do everything that it needs to do in terms of leaning and pushing inside on the bars, your throttle, to get you to where you're looking, to your target destination. If you find yourself looking down, you realize that, wow, the road's really coming up at me fast. Particularly when you're navigating canyons, corners, turns like I'm on now. It's just sensory overload. There's too much happening, and you're not able to focus on the important things, and that is your speed, your lean angle, your inputs on your throttle, your brakes. So keeping your eyes high, looking through turns, looking where you want to go, I think for me was really important, and it improved my riding immensely. What I found was I was taking many turns, especially at intersections, really wide. So I was actually going into the outside lane or oncoming lane very unsafe. And it was because I was looking down at the ground, I wasn't keeping my eyes high, I wasn't looking where I wanted to go. So making that change really improved my ability to make turns safely. Okay, so we talked about number 3, getting trained. I do recommend, I think training is an ongoing process. So every year, if you have an opportunity to take a refresher course or take an advanced course to build up your skills, then you do it. It's money well spent. Alright, so let's move on to number 3 and our get back riding. Top 5 tips for returning cyclists. And that is simply gear up. So this means protecting your hands with gloves, protecting your feet with boots, protecting your legs with pants, riding suits, wearing jackets, wearing good quality helmet gear, goggles, face shields, all of that. And why is gearing up so important? Well, you know, it comes down to just thinking about gravel, skin, and speed. And by themselves, they're not a good combination. They're a very bad combination. So it's true that you do see a lot of people on motorcycles wearing shorts or t-shirts, flip-flops, no helmet, just a pair of sunglasses. And I'm not going to condemn those folks because they're human beings, you know, they have freedom of choice, they can live their life as they please. But I wonder if they just have thought things through and realized the risk. So if you're probably my age, you've gone through your life thinking that, hearing that risk-taking is good, and that, you know, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. But I hate to tell you that in motorcycling, that does not apply. It's the opposite. The more you can manage risk, the lower the risk, the greater the reward. Because you're riding safely, you're riding into control, and you're living to tell the tale. So gearing up, I think, provides you with that layer of security. Should you have an off, you might be able to pick yourself up, walk away, get back on your bike because of your gear that protected you. Protected your hands, your feet, your arms, your legs. If you're not lucky enough to walk away, maybe you're limping away, well, you know, maybe your recovery time is weeks instead of months or years. In future podcasts, we'll talk more about the advantages of gearing up. And I'll share with you some of my experiences. So different equipment that I've purchased. We'll talk about comfort, safety, cost, and all those good things. Okay. So we've gone through the first 3 tips in our vlog session for returning riders. Number 4 is find a club. So thanks to the internet, Google, it's super easy to find groups of folks who are like yourself, either budding motorcyclists or seasoned cyclists, and through Facebook and discussion boards, meetups. It's really easy. I mean, you really don't have any excuse to go out and meet people. And I think this is so important because, like many sports, I think that motorcycling is a sport that's better enjoyed with others. You can't go alone. I see plenty of solo cyclists today. In fact, I'm solo today. But I kind of miss my riding buddies. And I have learned a lot about being a better rider, and also a lot about new roads and new destinations. I've met new faces, made new friends, all through my participation in the 2 motorcycling clubs that I participated in. There's also safety considerations. I think that a group of motorcyclists, generally speaking, I think, they have an advantage over a solo cyclist on the road. Cars tend to see them and avoid them. And should you have an off, there's somebody there to see what happened and help you or call for help. And the social aspects, I think they're just so much fun. I think there's this thrill and excitement of riding with a group of motorcycles that you just don't get by yourself on your own. So that's number 4 in our Get Back Riding top 5 tips for returning cyclists is find and join the club. Okay, that brings us to number 5. Last in our list of tips. And number 5 is simply get educated. Thanks to YouTube and thanks to the internet, blogs, there's just a wealth of information out there to help you become a better rider, a safer rider, a faster rider. There's also great books you can purchase, like Keith Coates' Twist to the Wrist, Proficient Motorcycling. There are many. And they contain just so much useful information. For example, learning about your motorcycle, learning the physics behind motorcycling, the science of how your tires, your suspension, your engine, your chassis, and you, as the most important part of the motorcycle, man and machine, becoming one. And having an understanding about things like setting up your suspension properly, checking your tire inflation before every ride, using your brakes and your throttle properly to turn, learning all about you a better rider, without a doubt. It'll make you more confident. And it will give you skills to help you in unexpected situations. And teach you good habits as well. So in our vlog series, I'll be sharing with you some of the incredibly awesome blog posts that I've learned from, books, also some videos. Alright, well, I want to thank you for riding along with me. It's Sunday, August 18th. We're on the Peak to Peak Highway near Estes Park, Colorado. I'm Lou, and this is Get Back Riding. Hope you enjoyed the vodcast. Glad to ride along with you. Have fun, be safe, keep the rubber side down.